Hello everyone. So today we will be working on lab number 11. Lab 11 is basically we're going to learn a couple of things here. The game is all about guess the number, and this is the half of the game. Rest of the game will be completed in lab 12. So in this particular lab, we're going to learn a couple of things like how to create an artificial intelligence module, how we can actually create iterations, and a couple of other methods as well. So let's get started. We have four main tasks that we're gonna do. In this particular lab, lab 11, we're gonna design the main interface, which will allow the user to enter the text. In order to take input from user, we need to write a script. So we will create a script and see how we can allow the user to give input. Then we're gonna see a couple of things, how we can reset, automatic reset, and things like that. So let's get started. So let's open your Unity engine, and I have already created that one, but what you guys can do is you just have to hit new. Once you hit new, make sure to select 2D and select the name and all. So I'm gonna actually double click guess the number, so you can create new one, and make sure to create a 2D. It's a 2D game, in fact. All right, so once you guys open it up, this is basically what you guys will see. But my main camera is by default right there. So what we're gonna do, the first step is let's create a new game object. Let's create a new game object, and it's going to be user interface, and we need to create a panel. So firstly, the game panel, just click panel. So right now, if you see the panel is too big, it's not getting fit inside it. And by default, whenever you create a panel, it becomes the child of a canvas. We already did that, I believe, if you guys remember. So in order to get it fit inside our camera and the camera, pan the camera on the panel, what should we do? We'll click the canvas like the main class, and go to the inspector. And if you see right here under the canvas render mode, it is screen space overlay. So we need to make it to the camera. So, but the problem is it's not assigned to the camera, so we need to drag over main camera and place it under the renderer camera. So you guys will see it will, the panel will get fit in it, okay? It will automatically resized. Now let's do something else. Let's say if you wanna play this game, and later on, of course, we will export the game for our computer, for our mobile, etc., etc. So we have to set the scale size. So right now, the scale mode is constant pixel. So we need to scale it with the screen size. Like if the screen size is big, automatically it will be scaled accordingly. And the resolution, I'm gonna put it the best resolution, which is 1280. It's not the best, but 720 Hz. So 1280 by 720. So it's called 720p. Okay, and let's make a match here to 0.5. So it will get fit, like it will best match with our camera. Now let me just do some more things. Let me just do the color change. So let's go to the panel. If you go to the panel, this is basically the panel things, like if you want to apply any kind of, like if you want to move it left, right, and all that, you can change it accordingly. I just want to change the color. Let's change the color. So let's go to the color, and whatever the color you want to assign to it. Let's see if we can pick any color of your choice. Let's pick any color, whatever the color you like. I'm going to pick this color. And let's close that. Okay, so now I just have assigned this particular color to my panel. Now let me just add another user interface that's going to be a text. So I'll go to the game object, user interface, and this time I'm going to get a text. Okay, text is right here. So now what I'm going to do is I want to move this text to text, and let me just, oops, sorry about that. And let me just move the text here somewhere, a little bit up, and let me just place it here. So we can of course also set it, let's get to the position 0, let's say 0. So that's basically the ideal position. Let me just change the font size. You can of course apply the downloaded font. If you remember, we already downloaded some fonts. We can use that font or whatever the font you want to apply that. I'm gonna keep the same font. The font size, let me just make it 45. I think it would be good, nice to have 45 font size. And the text, whatever the text you want. Let's say text is, let me just, all right, so let's see, let's just change the text. Firstly, let's name it, for example, guess the number, guess the number, and whatever the font you want, for example, but I'm gonna keep the same one. Let me just put it in the middle, in the middle as well. Okay, so just alignment, I just did the alignment by using that. And you can always change the color of the text as well if you want the color text. Let me just get for example, let's get ideal black, or we can get the, let's get the white color. So let's make 255 255 255. So let's get the white color, and let's font size, I think 14 is not bad. Let's make it 18. 18 is good. Or maybe we can do one thing. I'm gonna click here, slightly make it big, and you can change the font size as well accordingly. Let me scroll up and position set again to 0, so it should be right here. And let me slightly change the font size to let me just go back here. Okay, the text and font size, let's say make it 40. It's too big. Let's make it 30. 30 is fine. Or let's make it 20. 25. Let's keep 25. All right. So now we got this number here. Now we resize it, position it, and all that. Now let me just add a field for user. So let's hit game object again, and I'm gonna actually user interface, and this time I'm gonna get an input field. Let's get an input field, and let me slightly move it down, the input field, and let's move it here, and to the position should be 0, so it should be aligned with that 0 position. And you can increase or decrease if you want, slightly increase it. All right, and let's say make it 0 again, so it should be not going anywhere. So now we have added this input field where user is gonna add the text value as well. And let me show you one thing more here. If you open the input field, you will see two things here. One is the placeholder, which basically, I mean that one, and the text, which is basically go inside it. So let's say if you click the placeholder, and let's say placeholder, you can change the font size for the placeholder and all that stuff if you want to apply that. Let's say, for example, make it 18. Let's say 18. It's 18, or let's make it 16, for example, just for the sake of to change it. You can of course make it bring in the center and middle as well if you want, and let's do it that way. And for text, if you click the text, like whatever the text user will enter, so let's say text is going to be 16, whatever user will enter 16, it will come in the middle and the center as well. So this is basically the interface now, which user will enter, and this is basically how our game object will look like. Now there are a couple of things, like this is basically the game will now look like. Now there are a couple of things which are basically we still have to get, because we still have not allowed the user to input anything. So this is our game panel. You can take a screenshot, and that's basically what gonna go get down here. Next, we need to write a script to allow the user to input something to play the game. In order to do that, first thing is I'm gonna create a new game object. I'm gonna create a new game object, and let's go to game object, and let's create a new game object, and let me create an empty object, and let's rename it. Let's rename it game controller. Game controller. So we created a new game object. It's an empty game object. There's nothing inside it. So now next I'm gonna create under the asset. Let me create another script here. Let's create a script, C# script, and let's name it game controller as well. Game controller. That's the script now. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply this script over empty game object. So this script, I'm gonna drag the game script and drop it onto the game object, game controller. Now this is my game controller which got the script in it. Okay. One more thing which I will do, but let's create a script first. So let's open the script. Once we open the script, we have to do a couple of things here, and then let's see how it works. All right, so this is basically how our game script looks like. I'm gonna delete everything, and let me just get the input from user. To get the input from user, what I need is, let's see, this is gonna be, what is this? All right, so what I need is I just have to add a method here, which is just to all right, so let me just create a method here, and that's going to be a public void get input, which we already saw. And here in the it's going to be a string. Let's say if I just want to allow the user to add a string, so string name is, let's say, guess. Okay, string guess, and let's just to test it out, whatever user will enter. So I'm going to actually put here, let's say, just to test it out, debug.log, so we can see whether its code is working or not. You have typed, whatever you have typed, let's connect with that, guess. So whatever user will enter, it will be get into the guess, and let's save the script. And now what I need to do is, let's go back to the game scene. It has been applied, and there's one thing which we still have to do. So let's go to the canvas and input field. So let's click the input field. If you scroll down all the way to input field, right here on the, I mean, these two values has to be assigned, like on end edit where user can edit something. So let me just hit the plus sign, and here I have to assign this particular game controller where we already have assigned the script. So I will drag this game controller and place it right here. Once you apply that, you will see a couple of functions will be pop up with the game object. You will see under the game controller, you will see all these all these controllers will show up down there. So what we need to do is we need to get under the dynamic string, we need to get the get input, which user will be allowed to do. Once we do that, let me hit save this. And now it's time to play the game. It should get our input. Let's play the game. All right, so let's enter something. Hello, and enter. Once you hit enter, if you go to console, you can see here you have typed hello. Now the problem is that I have to manually delete it. This is me, enter. You guys can see here, it's not basically automatically, once you hit enter, it should allow us to, automatically it should be reset it. But right now the problem is, each time I have to click here, edit that, this is game guessing, enter. So now whatever you typed in, the code is working perfectly okay, but what I want is, I just want to slightly make it resettable. Like it should automatically reset. Once you hit enter, it should not, user doesn't have to hit the delete button. And you guys will see, in order to delete that, you have to hit the delete button. So what I'm gonna do is, in order to fix it up, we'll go back to stop the game, go back to the game scene, and now I am going to get back to my script. Open the script, please. And we need to add a new library here. And that's basically using Unity engine .ui. So user interface library. We have declared this library now. And now what I'm going to do is I just have to add few variables here. And what are those variables? Let's enter the private. Okay, so let me just try with the, let's create a private input key. So let me just private input field private input field input. Okay, it's in private input field, and let me create a initialize function which is called void. So void awake function. This is a function which will initialize the variable whenever you run a script. It will initialize the variable according to. In that one, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna declare input equal to game object. Which game object? It will find what it will find. It will find input field, this particular input field which has already taking the user input. So I'm going to declare that input field. Make sure the spellings are exactly the same or as of that this one, because this is the input field which we are connecting with our script. Input field and dot get component. It will get the component from our input field. So get component from input field, and what else we need, and what should we do? Guess enter, and then it should go back to the input text. I'm going to add one more thing here. Input dot text equal to whatever user entered, the empty string, and let's save this. So what's going to happen here, we have declared a input field. This function initialize the variable, and initialize variable allow the user to add that, and then it will leave empty and then go back and set the field. Let's try that if it works. Okay, so it will automatically, this function will automatically reset the game interface. This has been applied. Let's play the game. The compiler error before occurs. So let's see the type of, oh, okay. So it has been the type of name field input could not be found. Are you missing the directive assembly reference? So there is something missing. Just give me 1 second. Let me just fix this error. Okay, so that was the error. It's I uppercase. So I was like confused. So let me just save this. Let's go back to the Unity and let's see. Let's play the game. All right, so it worked. Let's try hello, enter. You guys can see if I go to the console, you can see you have typed hello and it's automatically gone. Hello, this is me. All right, so this is basically what we wanted to automatically reset, and that's basically the way how we can get it done. Another way to get it done is the serialized field. Let's see how exactly that can we can use that one. So I'll go back to the over script, and I'm gonna actually comment this. I'm not gonna run this, and what I'm gonna do is, in order to run that, I'm gonna actually add another simple field which is called serialized field. So you'll just put serialized field method. Serialized field will just apply the serialized field, and with the serialized field I have to save this, and what I have to do is I need to go back to my game, and it says serialized field attribute could not be found. Are you missing a directive? Let me just fix that one. So basically this S should be uppercase. S should be uppercase, and serialized field, rest is fine. I think that's the only method. Let's go back here. Still it is giving a problem. Let me just add its variable there. Okay, so what we should do is we'll go back to the serialized field. Let me click the game controller. Once we go to the game controller, let's go to the inspector, and here if you see we just have to allow the input field here. So let's see, in the script here, we already got a script here. Let me just see. Let's fix the error first. Yeah, so the problem was it's serialized field, not the serialized. So make sure you have the serialized with S uppercase. Once you save this one, make sure to comment that, put a comment here. Once you guys go back to the game, just click the game controller, And if you see the input field is empty, what we have to do is we just have to drag this input field and apply this input field down here. So this input field has been applied here. Now if we click save and let's play the game, it should give you the exactly same kind of environment. Let's say enter hello, this is me, enter. So you guys can see again the user got the value here. Let's say this is the second, enter. So again automatically it will reset the field. So there are two methods the way how you can get it done. And the next we are going to generate the random number on the back end, artificial intelligence based, and then we will allow the user, give the hints to the user and create iterations and all that stuff. So please get your lab done. If you will have any questions, please do let me know. Thank you very much.